Did you know that almost 60% of relationships struggle due to unnoticed, everyday habits? It's true. Small things we do, without even realizing it, can make us less likable and push others away. These habits aren't about big fights or major betrayals, but tiny actions that silently chip away at connection. In fact, a study by the University of California found that emotional distance in relationships is more often caused by things we don't even talk about. That means you might be unknowingly blocking your chances for love and happiness, just by how you act on a daily basis. Shocking, right? In this video, we'll dive into 6 hidden habits that could be making you less likable, whether you're aware of them or not. From pretending to be perfect to holding on to past hurts, we'll cover the habits you need to watch out for. But don't worry, I'll also share simple, practical strategies to break these habits and create stronger, more meaningful connections. Stick around for the surprising truths that could change the way you relate to others forever. Chapter 1: The Mask of Perfection. Why pretending to be perfect pushes love away. We all want to be loved and accepted, but sometimes we take it too far by trying to be perfect in every way. It's tempting to show only the best parts of ourselves, especially when we're looking for love. But here's the truth: perfectionism can push people away. According to Dr. Brené Brown, author of The Gifts of Imperfection, embracing vulnerability and authenticity is key to building meaningful connections. People are drawn to those who show their real selves, flaws and all. When we put on a mask to seem flawless, we're essentially telling others, "I don't need help, I don't have flaws." This can make others feel disconnected because they sense the distance. The need for perfection often stems from a fear of rejection. But ironically, it's this very fear that causes us to be less relatable. A study from the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that perfectionism leads to feelings of isolation, not intimacy. So, stop hiding behind a mask. Instead, let others see you for who you truly are, and you'll find your relationships becoming deeper. One key strategy is practicing self-compassion. Instead of focusing on your flaws as failures, see them as opportunities for growth. Acknowledge your mistakes and share them with others. Vulnerability creates connection, and connection creates happiness. Try to remember, your imperfections are often the qualities that make you unique and lovable. Chapter 2: The Silent Distance. How unspoken expectations sabotage connection and relationships. We often expect others to read our minds. We want them to know exactly what we need or want, without saying a word. But here's the kicker: people can't meet expectations they don't know about. Unspoken expectations can quietly chip away at the foundation of your connection with others. Research by Dr. John Gottman, a relationship expert, shows that unexpressed expectations are one of the leading causes of conflict in relationships. When expectations are unclear, small issues can snowball into larger problems. It's important to communicate openly and regularly with your partner, friends, or family. As the saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed. A good strategy is to practice clear and consistent communication. When something bothers you, speak up calmly, and when something makes you happy, let them know. Open conversations are crucial in managing expectations. In fact, Dr. Gottman suggests that 70% of relationship problems are solvable simply by talking about them openly. That's right, most relationship struggles could be avoided with just a little more honesty and clarity. You can also take time to ask others about their expectations. This creates a sense of mutual understanding and shows that you care about their needs. Remember, clear communication is key to making sure everyone is on the same page. It not only reduces tension, but it also builds trust and respect. Chapter 3: The Silent Critic. How your inner voice can unintentionally repel others. We all have that little voice in our heads that judges, critiques, and sometimes even doubts our worth. This inner critic, though it may seem harmless, can have a big impact on how others perceive us. Studies show that negative self-talk often leaks out and affects how we interact with others. If you constantly criticize yourself, others may start to pick up on those vibes, and it can make them uncomfortable. Psychologist Dr. Tara Swart, in her book The Source, explains that our thoughts create our reality. If we focus on negative self-perception, we radiate that energy outward. In relationships, this can manifest as insecurity, defensiveness, or even overcompensation. People are drawn to those who show confidence and self-love, not those who are always doubting themselves. To turn this around, start by practicing positive affirmations. Replace your negative thoughts with ones that empower you. Every time you hear that voice telling you you're not good enough, challenge it with evidence of your strengths. It's not about being arrogant, it's about showing yourself some kindness. People are more likely to feel comfortable around you if you project positivity and self-acceptance. A helpful strategy is also to engage in mindfulness. When you notice self-critical thoughts creeping in, take a moment to breathe deeply and refocus on the present. Mindfulness can help you become more aware of your thought patterns and break free from negative cycles. As Dr. Swart suggests, self-compassion is essential to personal growth. By practicing this, you'll not only like yourself more, but others will like you more, too. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on improving your relationships and boosting your happiness. Chapter 4, The Overanalyzer, How Overthinking Undermines Emotional Connection. Overthinking is a sneaky habit. You might think that analyzing every little detail will help you understand people better, but in reality, it can create distance. Research shows that overanalyzing situations in relationships often leads to unnecessary stress, making us seem distant or difficult to connect with. In fact, studies from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships reveal that overthinking can cause anxiety and reduce emotional intimacy. When you overthink, you start creating problems that aren't even there. For example, you might wonder why your partner didn't text you back right away and think the worst, maybe they're upset with you or losing interest. These thoughts aren't grounded in reality, but they can affect your behavior. As Dr. David Burns, author of the Feeling Good Handbook, says, thoughts are not facts. Overanalyzing leads to unnecessary emotional turmoil and can damage relationships. The key to breaking this cycle is learning to trust. Trust both yourself and the other person. In moments when you start overanalyzing, pause and ask yourself if the thought you're having is based on facts or assumptions. Are you jumping to conclusions? If so, take a step back and reframe the situation. Trusting that people's actions often have simple explanations can go a long way in preventing unnecessary drama. Mindfulness is another great tool for overcoming overthinking. By practicing mindfulness, you can train your mind to stay focused on the present, rather than getting caught up in hypothetical scenarios. Instead of obsessing over what-ifs, try focusing on what's happening right in front of you. This will not only ease your mind but also improve the quality of your relationships. Chapter 5, The Ghost of the Past, How Holding On to Old Hurt Blocks New Love. One of the most damaging habits in relationships is holding on to past hurt. Whether it's a bad breakup, an old betrayal, or childhood trauma, the emotional baggage we carry can prevent us from fully opening up to new love. According to Dr. Laura Berman, a renowned sex therapist, the past is a reference, not a blueprint. But all too often, we let past experiences dictate how we behave in future relationships, which can block us from forming deeper connections. Research from the Journal of Marriage and Family shows that emotional baggage can have a direct impact on relationship satisfaction. When you carry unresolved issues from past relationships, it's easy to project those issues onto your current partner. For example, if you've been hurt in the past, you might find yourself overly suspicious or fearful of being hurt again, even if your current partner is trustworthy. To break free from the ghost of the past, one strategy is emotional healing. This involves actively working through past hurt, whether through therapy, journaling, or deep self-reflection. Dr. Harville Hendrix, author of Getting the Love You Want, recommends that couples make a healing connection with each other by understanding the root of their emotional wounds. Understanding your triggers allows you to stop repeating old patterns. Another important step is to practice forgiveness, not just for others but for yourself. Holding on to anger or regret only ties you to the past and keeps you from moving forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning what happened, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight. This makes space for new love to enter your life, untainted by past hurts. Chapter 6, The Energy Vampire, How Emotional Draining Habits Drain the Joy of Love. Have you ever been around someone who seems to drain all your energy? It's not just you, they might be unknowingly acting as an energy vampire. These are people who habitually complain, seek constant validation, or create drama in their relationships. According to Dr. Judith Orloff, author of the Empath's Survival Guide, emotional vampires thrive on negative energy, and they can leave you feeling mentally and physically exhausted. The thing is, we all have moments when we need support, but when these moments turn into a pattern, it can make relationships feel like a heavy burden. One of the most common emotional draining habits is constant negativity. Studies show that negativity can be contagious. Like a virus, it spreads through conversations and interactions. A Harvard Business Review study found that when people are constantly around negative individuals, their own moods drop, leading to lower motivation and happiness. So if you're constantly focused on what's going wrong, it's easy to drag others down with you. The first step in addressing this is to recognize when you're falling into an emotional draining pattern. Ask yourself, am I looking for solutions, or am I just venting? Venting can sometimes be necessary, but it becomes a problem when it's the default mode in all conversations. When you recognize you're caught in a cycle of negativity, pause and consider how you can reframe the situation more positively. Another strategy is practicing gratitude. A simple but powerful way to shift your energy is to focus on the positive. Research shows that practicing gratitude improves mood, increases positivity, and strengthens relationships. The Greater Good Science Center found that people who regularly practice gratitude report higher levels of happiness and better physical health. Finally, learn to set boundaries. If you feel like someone is draining your energy, it's okay to step back. This isn't about being rude, it's about protecting your emotional well-being. Setting boundaries means being clear about what you're willing to accept and what you won't. It helps you maintain healthy, balanced relationships where both parties can thrive. By recognizing and changing energy-draining habits, you can create a more joyful, fulfilling environment for love to flourish. Emotional vampires might seem like an unavoidable part of life, but with the right strategies, you can protect your energy and build stronger, more positive relationships. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. Here's to building better, happier relationships.